wives and whores are basically the same thing. You see, both groups are sexually and emotionally available to men who feel this like sense of ownership over them.
You're not honest. So it's easier to accept a lie. It's easier to accept a negative disposition on why things are failing because it absolves you of the sin. It absolves you of the sin. If we're all sinners, then the saint is the problem. I know this is weird coming from me, someone that's trying to build a platform, but some of us need to get off the internet. Subscribe. Let's talk about it.
I'm someone who wants to get married, wants to have a family, but something I never stop thinking about is when Andrea Dworkin said that wives and whores are basically the same thing. You see, both groups are sexually and emotionally available to men who feel this like sense of ownership over them. One gets paid in cash and is called like crude and sinful and morally bankrupt over it. The other gets paid in attention, in social status. And it's very much like, oh my God, it's so sacred and feminine, like being your divine feminine, you know, like there is this kind of mythology around it. And the more you think about it, the more you're like, okay, the transaction is like structurally identical. Men extract sex from both and they like demand surrender from both. And I feel like it's important for people like me to talk about this because I'm someone who wants romance and partnership in my life. Just also urge women to preserve their own autonomy and not confuse any of this with like actual safety.
So part of the obvious issue here is just when you have a myopic view of what marriage is supposed to be because you heard so when you want to quote that, it sounds good. We see so many points here that simply sound good to your ear, and that's enough of a reason for you to now integrate this into who you are. When you have, again, this myopic view, this pessimistic view of marriage because you look at the failures and hold those up. We examine the worst type of marriages or the people that come here and complain about how their marriage failed, the ills of their marriage, and then we say this is the totality of it. We have this negative lens that we look at most things. And then when things go wrong, we say, aha, I knew it. I called it. I've seen it before. If we just say, split it down the middle, half these marriages end in failure. Why don't we closely examine how things went right? Why don't we closely look at those things that say, oh, these are the patterns that make a good marriage. So if I should be looking to either see, find, or create these sort of patterns of behavior because this tends to lead to a successful marriage. No, that doesn't really, lead to new cycle. We want it to be bad. We expect it to be bad. So we increasingly accept stupid takes like this. Now, if you're looking for a bad marriage, yes, you're going to say he's extracting sex, he's giving this and he's expecting this, and that's wrong. Rather, you look at an actual healthy marriage where people are saying, no, it's a pleasure. It's a thing we use to actually connect. He doesn't buy something I'm willing to give to him, something I'm looking forward to engaging with my one person on the planet. I give this to him because I feel closer to him. He looks forward to it because that level of intimacy he can get it nowhere else. It's not an extraction. What does she get for having sex with him? She gets his protection, his provision, his willingness to sacrifice himself for her and the family they've created. This is not something that you can buy. This is not something that you just go and purchase the service and say, hey now, professional worker of the night, I'm now willing to lay down my life for you. No, I bought it because it's cheap. The sex I have with my wife, that's precious. That is intimacy. You can't put a dollar amount on that. What you do with that worker is not intimacy. It's exercise. When you get confused like this, because as much as we claim to be educated, as much as we claim to be thinkers, to do deep dives in things, the minute something feels good and hits, it justifies how I think, we stop our level of thinking. We're good right there. This makes sense because this is a current messaging. I don't have to do anything extra thinking than that. I just sit there and accept it and I say, great, fantastic. It sounds good. It must be right. I can look up just about anything. I could look up any type of stat they did. You can read some of these things in depth if you want. If you're feeling lazier, you can have one of these AI summarize it for you. Hopefully you double check it. Sometimes it makes things up, but you don't need to rely and sit in ignorance because someone you potentially admire said it. Fact check them. Fact check them. Go ahead and take a look and think for yourself and say, okay, why have I always thought poorly about this? Surely there are marriages out there that work. Now, I've said this several times. One of the problems we have on social media is that people, when they get happy, when they get married, they're out of here. They're out of here. They're not here jumping in the comment section trying to defend marriage, trying to say, no, this actually makes sense. This is good. This is good. This is healthy. They don't do that. They're gone. They're enjoying their life with someone else that they're building together. They're leaving the rest of us here in our muck to mire in this and fight each other, to point fingers back and forth and say, who pissed in the dating pool? Who did it, right? This thing's floating in here. I know that was you. That wasn't me. That wasn't my camp. That was your camp. You guys are the problem. You're the problem. Meanwhile, people are getting out of the dating pool hand in hand, and they're getting off. They're out of here. Now they have their own private pool with a jacuzzi, with a hot tub. They're leaving the rest of us here, and we think that we're making sense. You don't have views of positive marriages because having that would defeat this feeling of, hey, I know this for sure, men are bad. I know this for sure, women are bad. If you actually got around married couples and say, what is the key here? What is making this possible? You probably see a lot of, we don't really engage. We don't really have social media living our lives for us. In marriages that tend to fail, there's probably more of that, more comparison game going on. More people saying, hey, how come we don't? How come you don't? You never said this. How come you won't? Versus, no, we're in this together. We understand it's collaborative effort. You're not going to find people in these healthy marriages today in America with this economy saying, you got to pay all these goddamn bills. I refuse. You got to pay all the bills, then come help me out with the kids, with the chores, 50%. They understand we're both supposed to do as best as we can. We're both supposed to take care of each other for the other person. This is the best sort of view. I'm never going to put you in danger. I'm never going to have this expectation of you that you give your time, your energy, your body so you could pay all the bills. He should be willing to do that. I'm willing to sit here, work on my feet for 18 hours so I can take care of you and the kids. Her job is saying, there's no way I would allow you to sacrifice your body. I care about you too much. Collaboration. Instead, it doesn't sound as good. It doesn't sound as cool. It sounds poetic, maybe romantic, but that's not what gets on the TV. That's not what leads on social media. That's not what the algorithm knows you want to see because you're mired in it. You want to, as you're single, as you're miserable, you want other people to be just like you. You want other people to sit in the same poison as you. Therefore, if everyone is suffering, if everyone is bad at this, I don't have to feel as bad about myself. If everyone's alone, then a problem isn't intrinsically me. If all my friends have trouble dating men, finding men of actual substance and quality, then I'm not the issue. That's why you have friend groups when you have people of various different sizes, but they're all complaining about the same thing. You all have individual issues why you're not with someone. When women say, I've got all these friends in this group, I've got so many amazing friends, they're so beautiful, they're so this, so this. In reality, because you're not honest with each other, because you're more compassionate than honest, you would be able to see, hey, in relationships, this is what she does. This is her story. This is how her history has gone with men. This is why it doesn't tend to work out. But you're not honest. So it's easier to accept the lie. It's easier to accept a negative disposition on why things are failing because it absolves you of the sin. It absolves you of the sin. If we're all sinners, then the saint is the problem. If you disagree, let me know down in the comments below. If you see other videos on screen, check those out and let me know your thoughts about those in those videos. And of course, if you're listening to my voice now, you have not subscribed. I think you should. You're trying to build something dope. I'll see you in the next one.